welcome to another Demarcation Media Mega Construx review. This is kind of different. This is not something I was expecting Mega to make, but looking back, with their Needler, the Master Chief helmet, the Energy Sword, and the Xbox, it kind of makes sense that they went this direction. This right here is 343 Guilty Spark. This is a buildable thing, and he's got lights and a audio brick of some sort. So that's kind of interesting. Now, right off the bat, I just want to say this is not typically the type of set that interests me because there are no figures involved. However, this is interesting in a different way, so it's one that really did need a closer look. So let's go ahead and take a look at that box. This box is done very similar to the Energy Sword and actually even the Forward Unto Dawn. The stand is very similar too. Spark is on the front. We get to see the different states of his glowing eyeball. We've got the Mega logo. There's the little demon ball floating up there. There is him going psycho. There's Master Chief, and around the back it says Rampant Spark, which is actually pretty funny. There are 15 quotes in this thing, and you can hear them by scanning that QR code. Other than that, it's a pretty simple box. Not a ton to look at. I mean, it is just a floating ball, and all the fun happens really when you build it and start having the lights and the sounds go. Size-wise, this is a pretty large box. I mean, maybe it's more like medium size. It feels very weighty, and it feels like there's going to be a lot in here. So I'm going to just go ahead and fold this open. Oh, hey, look, there's a full 360 of Spark there. What do we have around the other side? Oh, just jump scare. And then inside we have a lot of bags of parts, which this is all like silver. So for mocks and stuff, there's a ton here for making Forerunner structures. Now, what I really want to see... Whoa! Yep, this is what I wanted to see. It's a light and audio brick. This thing is part of why this set is a little more on the expensive side. Okay, and then the instructions are kind of a funny shape. Oh, Rampant Sparks on the back. Battery warnings. And, oh, it actually full on takes like AAAs? Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and get this built, and we will take a closer look at this little stupid floating ball that's responsible for Johnson's death. And there he is, all put together. Now, I didn't actually build him. My fiance built him. And that's a whole separate video. If you want to watch that, I'll pop the card up in the corner. The build process was quite interesting. The voice thingamajiggy inside is very odd to work with. While putting it together, it's a little bit freaky. But honestly, the end result, size-wise, is a little bit underwhelming. So I just want to jump into some size comparisons. And here is a Mega figure, right? So you kind of get an idea there, but I wanted to really compare it to some of the other display pieces. For example, the Needler. The Needler absolutely dwarfs Spark here. And I also wanted to bring in the Forward Unto Dawn, which is, display-wise, the stand is made similar way with the like blue on it. And these I feel like are a little bit more comparable in terms of size, but again, it's a little bit, I don't know. I'm feeling a little let down by his size. And there's the Xbox next to him as well. So I don't know. You guys can let me know in the comments if you think he is too small, too big, or just right in the middle. In terms of his looks, I would say he's most of the way there. Like, he's got all of the features that he would need as Spark. I feel like the shaping around here is a little off. If we compare it to the tiny guy here, you can see that whole section is much wider and it has kind of a slope in it. And The big guy here does not have that. He simply just has a circle. Now, limitations of bricks, yes, I'm aware. But again, that brings me back to the size. I feel like if this were larger, then we could have gotten that detail more. If we rotate around here, we do have the little two back prong thingamajiggies and little gaps on either side. This has bigger, but obviously this is also a piece that Mega made, so it might not be the most accurate reference. Same around the other side. These are printed pieces on the inside here. There's 4 printed pieces, and then there are 4 over here. Overall, there's a decent amount of prints. These are printed pieces, these are prints, and all 4 of these are printed as well. So yeah, he's got what you would want to see out of a monitor, but it's a little off. He can come off of his stand. It just pegs in there. You can see Guilty Spark printed on there. That's a funky looking print, I gotta be honest. But the stand, I do like the stand design. He is fairly weighty once you have him in hand. Also, you have to be careful when picking him up because these things are like on hinges and they like to pop off as well as this likes to pop off. But overall, he's fairly sturdy. If you build him right, he locks together well. You can see the bottom. There's clear pieces holding him together. And he feels a bit smaller than he would be in game, so he's not to scale. But I don't know, holding him, like you feel the weight a little bit more, and it's a little like, oh, okay, maybe he's fine. But again, I'm just like, it feels small. Of course, the big gimmick here is that right there. And when I say that, I mean the thing behind the eyeball, that big brick in there.
Hello, I am 343 Guilty Spark. I am the monitor of installation 04.
So he speaks. And that's the big draw of the set. That's what makes this set so expensive. And it's pretty cool, I have to admit. The glowing eye is pretty cool. There's a bunch of different things he'll say. We'll run through some of them here in a second. But yeah, it's pretty neat. The light and sound is all built into one unit, one brick. So there's not multiple things that you would have to change the batteries for. Although, when it dies, that means, guess what? You're going to be dismantling this guy. Bruh. Stop. He does that too. It took me a while to figure out why he just hummed randomly, but when you push it, he's like on, he's activated, and then if you let him sit for a little bit, he will turn off by humming and then will be dormant again. So let's let him say a few things.
More questions? Splendid. I would be happy to assist you. After exhausting,
I don't like that one.
would you like to see the relevant data? I am a genius.
He's such a brat. Now, if we press it enough times...
Hello. More questions? After exhausting, would you like to? I have enough money spreading. But it's unacceptable.
There we go. He goes rampant. So I don't entirely understand how this works. It kind of cycles... Bruh, be quiet, be quiet. Yeah, I know. Shh. Thank you. I think it just cycles through, but I think you have to rapid press his eye to get the rampant voices.
Unacceptable. Unacceptable. But this ring is mine. Unacceptable.
Okay, so it's a double click. Double click gives you rampancy. Now, it does shine through blue, so it's a little bit of a dim red.
Is mine.
But I think that is pretty cool functionality. So it's a pretty advanced piece that's in the center there, and it does make the whole gimmick of this guy pretty interesting. So, there you go. That is 343 Guilty Spark. I did not ask you to speak. Be quiet. So, I feel like this review should have been longer. This was a decently large set. Let me look at the parts count again. He's got 600 parts. And he cost me $80 because I got him off of eBay. Now, I believe retail is going to be $60, $65-ish. I could be wrong, but I believe that's the price. And honestly, I don't know. This set as a whole really does not feel interesting to me. Now, that's partially because I don't care much for Guilty Spark, aside from having him as a, little secondary figure, and these display pieces that have no figures at all are even less interesting to me. I do wish that he had at least included tiny Guilty Spark. I think that would have been cool, kind of the way Lego does things. The lights and sounds is pretty cool. I feel like it will get limited use for the people that really want this, because they're probably going to display it on a shelf and not do much more. But it is cool. The prints are nice. The overall shaping is generally good. You can tell what it is you're looking at. At the end of the day, it's an okay set. I don't have any major complaints against it, but I also don't have any major praises for it. It's a display set. It does its display pretty well. The gimmick is pretty cool. And that's kind of it. So if this is something that interests you, go for it. If it's not, pass. Or buy him and get a massive amount of silver pieces for making Forerunner dioramas, because you could do that too.
Hello, I am 343 Guilty Spark. I am the monitor of Installation 04.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.